Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible with the whole learning process behind that, and ultimately we're all here to be better, more pure human beings, spirits, whatever you want to kind of call that. In terms of where we're at in the world right now, we were talking earlier about your thoughts on the world in terms of an upswing. You feel we're on a spiritual upswing? If you don't mind talking about
Yeah. Well, they say as the night gets darker, the light gets brighter. And we're going through darkness at the moment. We're going through darkness with this pandemic. We're going through darkness with political decisions. We're going through darkness with all sorts of things, crime. But something beautiful is also happening. In this world, we have spiritual beings being born at this moment. Angels being born amongst us that will bring change to the planet. Now, amongst us also, there are great teachers, many great teachers. And as it gets darker, these teachers will come out. They will come. And you will find that there's so many wonderful teachers coming out, and we're listening to them, and people observing what they're doing and how they are, and more will be coming out. And these are the angels of the world. Now, some people will drift to a particular teacher, other people will drift to other teachers. So these teachers are put in place for people's development. And whoever needs that kind of development. So you have, like mathematics, you have the basic mathematics, the intermediate mathematics, the advanced mathematics, right? So people too, in their spiritual nature, are basic, intermediate, advanced. So they will choose teachers according to their level of understanding. So people on a lesser understanding about spirituality, I don't like to say lower, but lesser. When they're at a lesser level, they will have a teacher to inform them, to lift them up to intermediate. Then when they're ready as intermediate, they will have teachers to lift them to the advanced level. And those people at the advanced level will have teachers that will lift them sky high. And that's how it is. People are on different levels of vibration, different levels of understanding, and I call it the mats of life.
So, I mean, in terms of vibration, this is one thing that in the kind of mainstream society, if that's what you want to call it, you just never hear about this kind of stuff. What's your take on vibration? I mean, the way I see it is you meditate, you eat good food, you treat people with respect and purity, your vibration rises up. And I believe you've written a book, Freedom Through Frequencies.
Yes.
I've read it. I shouldn't say I believe, I know you have because I've read it. But that talks about all your frequencies and whatnot. So what's your take on that?
Now, the easiest and the simplest way to understand vibration, I use the analogy of an ice cube. You take an ice cube out of a fridge, it's cold, right? It's solid. It's rock solid. And you put that in a pan over a fire, it becomes liquid. And if it's there longer, it becomes steam, and then it becomes gas, right? The H2O in these 4 components is the same. It's the same component, H2O, but it's different states. So what has happened? The vibration of the cube changed, but the H2O is the same. It's like you and I. We're in the same, right? The vibrations may be the same or may be different. So some people are on an ice cube level. Some people are in a liquid level. Some people in a gas level, in a vapor state. So vibration is like that. Now, I'm sure many of the people listening to this audio would say that they walked into a particular clubhouse maybe or a function and they looked around. There's some people in that place that they didn't like just by looking, and some people that they gravitated to. Why? Because of your vibrational frequency. There's a feeling, oh, that's a likable person, or that person I have to be aware of. It's because the vibration of theirs against the others, right? I'm not saying the other people are higher or lower. I'm saying the vibrational level is is the same or different. So a lot of people like to gravitate towards people of a higher vibration, okay, which is a good thing because it means that they too can be lifted. Nobody likes to hang around with hoodlums, right? Because the vibration is not going to be very good, you know. They say when you lie with dogs, you get fleas, right? So, we have to be careful who we associate with.
So, as your vibration grows, what's the effect that will have on the world around you? It's a pretty broad kind of question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Have you ever shaken hands with somebody and felt I'm very uncomfortable?
All the time. No, I mean, back to what you said before, like I feel that all the time. You know, you go into a room and there's automatically some people that you just don't really want to hang around as much as people you do.
Yeah.
So I do feel that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You shake someone's hand at you. Sounds kind of a bit slack, be like, I just don't really like this person that
Yeah,
much. And you
yeah.
want to steer clear of them. But yeah, sorry, go on. I kind of cut you off there.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Now, your point of view is very important because, you know, I need to know what people are thinking. So, vibration is essential. Vibration, we need to lift vibration. Now, your question was, why do we?
So, I guess in comparison to someone who's like a lower vibration versus someone who's a higher vibration, what can one expect the impact on the world around them that will have as they raise their vibration? Like, are they able to physically manifest things quicker, affect people in a more positive way, or, you know?
Yeah. So what happens is, look, when your vibration changes, your auric field changes. As your vibration gets higher and vibrates at a higher level, the auric field extends out to, let us say the auric field is about half a meter outside your body, right? So as your vibration increases, your auric field extends out from half a meter to 1 meter, right? When your vibration reduces, the auric field gets smaller. Now what happens is, as your vibration increases, as the auric field extends out, those people in your auric field will change. The vibration of that auric field will have an effect on those people. Now, when we all start to change our vibration, let us say there's 10 people in the room and we've been meditating and doing some other kind of exercises to increase the vibration, as you did in SMA. As we do this, the auric field gets bigger. Now let us say somebody comes into the room that is of a lower vibration. When they come into the room and you've got 10 people with vibrational frequency is high, when that person comes in, immediately their vibrational frequency changes from less to higher. So now in the world, let us say we have, in Australia, say, right? We have 1,000 people meditating in a particular area. Everybody in that area will start to change. They can't see. They can't see the energy. They'll feel the energy, and the vibrational frequency of everybody in that area will start to change. So the more people meditating, more people doing exercises from SMA, life for them will change. People around them will change. Some people will walk into your group and say, why do I feel so happy? Why do I feel so relaxed? I mean, it happens in my karate school all the time. People walk in, when they walk in at the door and they bow to walk in, they say, wow, we feel so different. We feel so different being in here. When they leave the class, they say, wow, that was a good night. I feel so wonderful. I feel so wonderful because of the vibrational frequency.
It's very interesting. And one thing I've noticed because I've been meditating for about about 10 years or so now, even from when I started meditating, I'm 28 now, when I was 18, I've noticed a lot more people are doing meditation and more interested in these topics and whatnot. A good example of that is an app on the phone called Insight Timer. There's millions and millions of people meditating now. Amazing app. What's it like now compared to when you're a bit younger? Like more people, in your eyes, more people are meditating, more people are more aware of this stuff, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I really can't talk about in terms of numbers, but the environment in which I was born in was kind of totally different to the environment now.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in an environment where prayer and meditation was very essential, right? So everybody around us were doing the same thing. So it was beautiful. I think being born in South Africa in violent situations, it would have been worse if people weren't praying and meditating. So the vibration that is created through meditation has had a better impact and has actually protected us from a lot of stuff. So in terms of the world, there's a lot more awareness now than before. Now, because of the internet and because of this kind of communication, people are now beginning to learn that others around the world are doing what they're doing. So people are learning the techniques, influencing others to do it. So I think really if people weren't meditating and if they weren't praying, we'd be in a more disastrous situation than ever.
And on that topic, where, if you don't mind elaborating, where to for SMA from here?
Well, SMA is a great tool, I think, in terms of leadership. Now, I created SMA, the leadership program, to make people leaders so that they can lead by example. That's all it was, right? Yeah. Lead by example so others change. And of course, people can become teachers of the leadership program and guide others. But now we go to the next stage, which is living with SMA. How do you live with SMA? So with this new course, I teach people values, to value their life, to value people around them, how to improve the way they live as a human being, learning ethical behavior, not being immoral in the way they are, have fun, laugh a lot, make people happy. And the more people that we can make feel happy, the world will change and become better.
Yeah, it's interesting because one thing I struggle with is when I see all this going around here is that this is real, and the spirituality is like it's like it's not real. But one could argue it's actually the other way around. I'm just trying to understand that still. But yeah, I mean, what's your take on helping one understand how to treat people like with equanimity? What's your take on that in terms of like the insects, the animals, and other human beings? What are some tips and tricks on that?
Everything has a life, right? So everything has a reason to exist. The insects are only doing its duty. Whether it's a fly or a mosquito or a bee or an ant, they're all doing their duty. They do what they know best.
Like human beings,
yeah. Yeah. They know, so as human beings, we are like the insects. Some of us are like flies and others are like bees and some people are like mosquitoes and so on, right? It depends on the human person.
Yeah.
But everybody has a reason to exist. All the insects have a reason to exist. I don't like killing insects. I don't like killing animals. But that's me. It's okay. People do whatever they want to do. So every soul is on its own journey. Every insect is on its own journey. They all have their purpose. But what we need to do is to respect them for who they are and what they are. I don't think it's necessary for the sake of killing. Just kill a cockroach or kill a mosquito or kill a fly. I would rather try and grab it by some means and put it out in its environment than kill it, because they have a right to exist. Why do we have to control life? Why do we as human beings control the life of insects? We have no right. The only right is our own life. That's where the right starts and stops.
Yeah, I guess ultimately it comes down to human ego, doesn't it?
That's all it is. We think we have a better state. We are better than the insects and better than the animals. We have a right to kill and harm and injure and do whatever we please. So wrong. So wrong. People don't realize the repercussions of harming other things. They don't understand fully, and they want to know why they go through so much pain and suffering. When you harm something, think about the damage, because there's feeling in those creatures. There's feeling. You know, I've seen abattoirs where they kill these animals and they let it suffer, and the animals are panicking because they know they're next in line to be killed. We consume those animals and we think it's okay. We get it. But look at the suffering that those poor things have to go through for us. We don't have a right over anything. You know, where does it say that we're supposed to be to do what we do and do it at free will? You know, we have no rights. We have no free will to do anything. Talking about free will, what is free will? Free will is when you are able to do something and there's no repercussions. That's free will. Free will means there's no repercussions to action. So if there's a repercussion to whatever you do, it's not free. Common sense thinking, isn't it? People talk about free will. Human beings have free will. We don't have free will. Only when we are pure in our thoughts, we have free will. Otherwise, we don't have free will, because there's a repercussion. Whether it's good or bad, there's going to be a reaction. There's going to be a reaction, 100%. You can absolutely guarantee that you will have a reaction on whatever you do.
So what are your thoughts on karma then? Is karma and free will being...
Karma is
linked?
accountability.
Yeah. So it's
Karma is
essentially
accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're accountable for everything that you do. I mean, the divine is a great accountant. He knows how to keep the books.
The Akashic record, yeah.
And all the records on the Akashic records, right?
Yeah.
All the records, the accountancy is there. He knows how to carry the balance forward. My dad used to talk about God. He says, God is the best accountant because he knows how to carry the balance forward, right? And I thought that was a great statement from my father. So, you know, we are accountable for everything we do. You know, I see people talking about their innocence. Oh, they stand on platforms and they tell us what a good being they've been and how innocent they are. I'd say to everybody, study your own life and see how innocent you are. Study it and think about what you've done. Have you harmed other creatures? Have you harmed other human beings? In not only by action, by thoughts as well. How many times have you thought bad things of another person? How many times have you said incorrect things to other people? We need to be thinking about that. So if you were judging yourself, how would you judge yourself when you have thought bad things about others? How would you judge yourself when you've done bad things and said bad things about others? So you're accountable. We would see it. We would see every moment of our life that's recorded in the Akashic records when we leave the planet. If you're lucky, you probably will be able to see it before you leave the body.
Fingers crossed. And that's the same thing again. Like, I think we were talking earlier, I still have judgmental thoughts. I'm human, but, I try to bring those back into pure and love, And it's interesting you're saying that me having those thoughts is essentially harming someone else, which is just, you just don't think of that. Because out here is normal, out here is real, and in here and in the ether is not real. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm not saying to people, don't be critical.
Difference between, yeah.
I'm not saying to people, if you know, my teacher said, if you know your subject well, you're allowed to criticize. That's the key. Judgment and criticism is not the same.
Yep.
Making a judgment without proof of anything is wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
very good
but
point.
being critical of something that you understand. For instance, I look at karate moves of other schools, right? And I look at it, and I have over 50 years of teaching karate, and I look at it, and I know whether it's a good technique or a bad technique. I know whether it's a right technique or a wrong technique, because I have the experience of that. I'm not going to say put garlands around my neck, but I'm an expert at the topic. I know the topic well. So I'm allowed to criticize in my own mind and say, this guy is good at what he's doing, or he doesn't know what he's doing.
I guess as you said, there's a big difference. Like, I guess sometimes with spirituality, I've found in the past some teachers, they'll be very like, oh, it's all love and very fuzzy wuzzy and everything, and it's almost like you become a doormat. So as you said, it's a balance of being able to be strong and powerful and defend yourself, but still also come out of that love and purity. Because I've been a doormat in the past, mainly in like little relationships I've had, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I guess it ultimately comes down to balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You keep the balance. Keep the balance. You're allowed to live your life criticizing, being compassionate, being tolerant, defending yourself. We have a right. Every human being has a right to defend themselves against those that are harming. You don't say, oh, I want to be loving and to everybody, allow people to do as they please and then suffer.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.